Itty bitty Diddy, cheapskate. He's ordering up a sex worker like he's ordering a pepperoni pizza from Papa John's, haggling about the fee for the sex worker. He even has an unpaid balance. And he can't pay his $600 balance to a sex worker, which, hello, is illegal. He wants free clothing, free tickets to Fashion Week, free everything, reduced prices for illegal sex workers. Yet there he is all laid up in a luxury SUV wearing two huge diamond earrings. Let me tell you, that ain't cubic zirconia.
His own cheapness is the reason why the feds have this little breadcrumb trail.
Excuse me, but did I just hear Sean Combs, aka Itty Bitty Diddy, whining that the sex worker couldn't perform? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Tisa tells, what is wrong with rich people? Here he is committing a crime. He is ordering up a sex worker like he's ordering a pepperoni pizza from Papa John's. Okay, he's ordering up a sex worker and he's whining about how much they're charging him for a male sex worker. And catch this, he even has an unpaid balance. What is wrong with rich people? He's a billionaire and he can't pay his $600 balance to a sex worker, which, hello, is illegal. And here we've got him on text haggling with the woman about the fee for the sex worker. And the irony, the insult to the irony, is he accuses a sex worker of not being able to perform. I wonder if it has anything to do with him dragging Cassie Ventura out in the middle of the freak off and beating her and then sending her back in to perform correctly. But whoa. Itty bitty Diddy, the one sitting over there butt naked wearing a burqa over his face, talking on the phone and trying to masturbate. He says the sex worker can't perform? Did I just hear that?
You just heard that, and that was one of the most shocking things we heard in court. When you talk about these billionaires, I literally said I thought being part of a billionaire's depraved harem had some perks. He started the conversation off by accusing them of raising rates. She literally had to screenshot a picture of the rates to let her know I'm trying to be even. And even after that, he then tried to short 600. We heard about these sex workers being flown on Spirit Airlines? Are you insane? Spirit Airlines paying for their own Ubers. This man was beyond cheap.
Wait. Put her up. Tisa tells, why are you acting like Spirit Airlines is... Because, I mean, I've flown on Spirit Airlines before. They tried to charge me for a cup, not a bottle, a cup of water. I swear I wonder if I had to pay to go to the bathroom, and I decided I would just hold it. I can't remember if you had to pay to go to the bathroom. So, Tisa, you mentioned seemingly outraged that he flew these sex workers on Spirit Airlines, but the irony, the other irony, is that he has a $60 million private jet that he is renting out for tens of thousands of dollars per flight, and the guests have no idea they need one of these before they sit down on Diddy's jet, because you know there's no way he can resist being a member of the Mile High Club. That's not going to happen. And he's bringing in, I think since he was arrested, over $4 million revenue from renting out, oh, there you go, his private jet. So what were you saying about flying everyone on Spirit?
The fact that he flew them on Spirit, the most low budget, they were in charge of their own taxis, in charge of their own Ubers. They literally were paying money out of their pockets for the presence of being with them. And get this, he actually had a running tab that they would have to chase after him afterwards, begging for reimbursement of any type, even services. Again, it was shocking that a billionaire, but when it comes down to it, there is something about a cosmic justice that his own cheapness of not handling this directly is the reason why the feds have this little breadcrumb trail of who did what, because the receipts and the reimbursements. Again, Diddy was notoriously cheap with his time, with his love, and now it seems like it is all coming down, but a lot of shocking things.
You know, Tisa tells, that's what he gets for haggling via text, because that absolutely proves count number 3, and that is traveling sex workers to a jurisdiction across state lines for the purpose of prostitution. That's a crime. In this day and age, many people think that prostitution is not a crime. Well, in most jurisdictions, it's still a crime, and it is under the federal statute. So if all else fails, we've got idiot Diddy haggling with Cowboys for Angels sex workers to fly someone to his jurisdiction, and he's arguing about how much it's going to cost. And he's got a balance, cheapskate. Welcome back. We are live at the Monahan Federal Courthouse, where the end of the trial seemingly is in sight. But first of all, we've got our mitts on some of the official documents and photos, exhibits entered into evidence by the state. Let's take a look at what we obtained. Here you see Sean Combs getting yet another beauty treatment. Okay, the jury is drinking this in, and now we've got a video the jury has just gotten. Let's take a look at that. Is that Sean Combs, Sydney Sumner, Crime Stories investigative reporter, with a Rolex on? I think that's what that is. I don't think it's a fake. And he's sitting in the back seat of a luxury SUV wearing diamond earrings and a dope rope. Is that what I just saw? The jury's going to see that?
Well, Nancy, that sure sounds like Sean Combs. This man doesn't do anything without style, without being in the most luxe clothes that he can be in. This man knows what top shelf quality is, and he flaunts it on a regular basis.
But yet, it's so bizarre, Dr. Bethany Marshall, that he haggles with people over saving money. We've heard about how he wants free tickets to basketball games, front seat on the court, that he wants special perks when he travels, not in his private plane, that he wants free clothing, free tickets to Fashion Week, free everything, reduced prices for illegal sex workers. Yet there he is all laid up in a luxury SUV wearing two huge diamond earrings. Let me tell you, that ain't cubic zirconia. Okay, a big dope rope made of gold around his, and I think that was a Rolex watch. Yet he's haggling with everybody else.
And Nancy, also if you roll that tape again, he looks high to me. He doesn't look like he's sober. And all those complaints about sex workers not being able to perform, well, he wants them to perform
oh yeah,
for
he's
3
totally
days.
high. Thank you.
Yeah. Uh-huh. How are the sex workers supposed to keep an erection for 3 days? I mean, really. So back to not wanting to pay for things.
Hold it. Wait a minute, Dr. Bethany. What is he? Is he smoking a blunt? Hold on. Let me see. He waits till the camera pans away before he puts it to his mouth, which I'm pretty sure is him avoiding getting caught smoking a joint.
He's showing off his orthodontics too. I mean, look, he just opens his mouth ever so slightly so you can see all those beautiful veneers. So, Nancy, in terms of not wanting to pay for anything, that's called entitlement, which is one of the criteria for narcissism and sociopathy. It's the expectation of reward without achievement. Wanting the best table in the restaurant, you've never been to the restaurant before, or wanting your girlfriend to come to Turks and Caicos, but you're lying to her about the fact that it's going to be a vacation. He wanted something for nothing. And these poor girls, Mia, Jane, Cassie, they were trolled online for only being in it for the money. When you hear this comment about not wanting to pay a $600 tab for a sex worker, that's how he treated them. Whatever he gave them was pennies on the dollar. Okay, so they got one piece of jewelry. That was nothing compared to all the hardship that they endured.
Okay, I want you to brace yourself, okay? Brian Fitzgibbons, the new defense is blame Iran. Why blame Iran? The defense is going to argue that the prosecutors should be focusing on the real threat, and that is Iran, and not sticking their noses into Sean Combs's bedroom. That's the defense. They are going to argue that in closing statements. I mean, as soon as Iran and Israel got into a conflict and the U.S. waded in, all the defense attorneys are like gnashing their teeth and twitching their tails. How can we use the war to Diddy's benefit? What about it, Fitzgibbons?
I just about fell out of my chair when I read that, Nancy, about Iran. And we're in the 6th week of this trial. The defense is opportunistically taking this 12-day conflict between Iran and Israel to hopefully confuse the jury, I guess. You've had 6 weeks of shocking witness testimony, 6 weeks of lurid video, and they're trying to distract the jury with this Iran thing, bottom line.
You know what's interesting? So many things are interesting, Brian Fitzgibbons, and I'm not blaming the lawyers, the defense lawyers, although you make a choice of what kind of law you want to practice. You don't have to defend guilty people, right? There's a million other things you can do, good things you can do with your law degree. These lawyers are good. I know for a fact that Steele is a great lawyer. I know for a fact Tina Garagos is a great lawyer. She learned at the feet of her father. Mark Garagos won a lot of cases. But this whole Iran suggestion, think about it. Remember at the get-go, Fitzgibbons, that the sex worker came in, he didn't know who he was working for, and he looked over and saw a male completely naked from here down, but wearing a burqa from here up. I can't wait for the defense to blame Iran and say, hey, prosecutors, you need to get out of Diddy's bedroom and focus on a real threat for Homeland Security, and that would be Iran, when there is their client dressed up in a burqa. And that brings me to another point for the prosecution, since they didn't ask me. In Iran, women are treated the way Sean Combs allegedly treated these victims every day, beaten, degraded, humiliated, forced to live by the man's rules. And then the man is shocked when the woman isn't, quote, grateful. And one of Sean Combs's missives, he said, every other woman would be so happy to be in your shoes. Who's he talking to? Oh, the woman with the fat lip and the plastic surgery for the cut over her eye. I mean, go on. Bring up Iran, Garagos. Bring it up, Steele, and just see what the state fires back at you. What about that, Fitzgibbons? Iran, my rear end.
Yeah, they're making no attempt to rehabilitate, witnesses that have been up there, rehabilitate Diddy's image. And they're going to distract with Iran. Maybe that's a place that Diddy would fit right in at if this trial works out for him. Maybe he can move there.